Okay, so let's just assume that we're going to do a no-grid survival book. Let's assume that it had 8 competitors and those 8 competitors were selling, and then we're thinking about publishing in this niche. But like I said before, this wouldn't be a niche that I would personally publish in because there's too many competitors. But let's just assume that you found your niche, and let's just pretend that this was a good niche. What are we going to do now? Well, now we need to know if we can actually make some profit with this niche. And how do we do that? Well, first of all, we're going to open up some of our competitors to see what the interior looks like. Is it colored or is it black and white? So let's open up this guy because he's selling, this guy's selling, this guy's selling, this guy's selling, this guy's selling in Kindle though. Let's see if he's selling in paperback. He's also selling in paperback. So let's just see these 4. So the first thing we're looking for, is it colored or is it black and white inside? And we're going to go here on read sample. If I click on read sample, it usually gives you a Kindle here and a paperback. You want to go on the paperback because on the Kindle version, you can put as many colored images as you want, and it's always going to be colored and it's free of charge. But for the paperback, if it's colored, then the printing cost is going to be higher, which eats into your profit margins. But right now we're just trying to see, is it colored or is it black and white? This one looks like it's black and white. Are there any images? There's no images, and that's the back cover. So this looks like it's black and white. If we go down to the reviews, we can also see. So the A+ content shows us that it's black and white. The reviews, maybe there's some images, awesome. So there's some images as well. So you can see here, this is a Kindle version of the book because it's a digital version and it has colored images. But if there are any images here that show the inside of the book, it's probably going to be black and white. So all the paperback versions looks like it's black and white. This again is a digital one and this is a physical one. So the physical one looks like it's all black and white. There we go. So here's some images. It's black and white. So now we know that this one is a black and white book. So I'm going to go here and just type in black and white. Now another thing I want to see is the page number. So how many pages is this book? This one says here, right here, 149 pages. So I'm going to write here 149. Up here, I'll write pages just so I know what that number represents. And finally, I want to look at the trim size. How big is the book? Because the bigger your book, the higher the printing cost. So how big is this book? 8.5 by 11. This first one here is 8.5. This is the spine, and then this is the height. So you have width, spine, and height. This is an 8.5 by 11. Here I have trim size. Perfect. And the final thing we want to see is the price. Now, we don't want to see this price. We want to see this price. We want the list price, because for there to be a strike through, that means Amazon saw that it was selling more, or Amazon was making more sales, aka more profit, when the price was at 21 to 22. But because this guy set the price to $23.97, Amazon automatically lowers it, but only because it has previous proof that it's sold better at this price. Now, if Amazon gives you a strike through, you still get profit for this price, not this price. So this guy is selling it for $23.97, and this is the price. Great, so that's one of our competitors. We can go in the other ones and kind of see a similar thing. Let's also write down the reviews. He had around 103 reviews. Okay, so this guy has 67 reviews. His price is $22.89. He has 220 pages, and he's probably also 8.5 by 11. And finally, is he selling a black and white book or a colored book? Paperback, and it looks like it's black and white. Great, so this guy's selling a black and white one as well. Now, we're going to do this for all of our competitors that are selling. That way, we're going to have a big spreadsheet on what the average page size is, the average trim size, the average price, and reviews are just for us to see if there's any correlation. That reviews don't really matter, but sometimes you might get a book with a low amount of reviews, but the only reason it's selling is because the price is super low. So that will give you more information. If this was at $16.99, then I would say, well, of course it's selling at 67 reviews because it's way cheaper than all the other ones. Let's say if they were all around 24 to 22. So let's just do one more competitor. He's got 111 reviews, $24.97, 8.5 and 254 pages. And is he black and white or colored? And it looks like it's black and white. Yep, looks black and white. So once we do this for all our competitors, we can kind of see how much profit are we going to make if we create a similar book to them? Similar page length, similar price, so we can see roughly what our profit margin will be. Great, so now we're going to go on KDP royalty calculator, and it's going to be the first one, printing cost and royalty calculator. We're going to open the calculator, and then here we're going to put in what our book is going to be. And we know how to fill all these out because we can see what our competitors are doing. So book type, is it hardcover or paperback? We're publishing paperback, higher profit margin. The interior, is it black and white? premium color or standard color? It looks like they were all black and white. So let's just assume we're going to make a black and white with white paper. Trim size, we want inches, and we also want it 8.5 by 11 because that's what our competitors are doing, the ones that are selling. We're going to sell it in the Amazon.com marketplace. And how many pages are we going to have? This guy has 150. This guy has 250. So let's say we're going to do around 150 pages. And our list price we'll go for the cheapest one. We'll just go 22. So if we decide to make this book, we're going to click submit, and we know that we're making $9 royalty for every sale. Now, this is very good just for one sale. If we can get it up to $24.97, and we can do it because this guy has done it, but he has 250 pages. So let's see how much he's making. 250 pages at $25 roughly. Submit, and he's making $9.75 royalty for every sale. So if he makes 10 sales a day, in fact, we can actually see exactly how many sales he's making. So black and white, so that's how you determine your profit margin. Now, I like to publish books with a $5 profit margin or more. Obviously, the higher the profit margin, the better. But if the book gives you a $5 profit margin or higher, then I'm happy with publishing that book. Now, we can even see exactly how many he's selling by going on an ABSR calculator. And then Kindlepreneur has this free one, and here we want the rank, which is 23,078. We want it paperback, Amazon.com. He's making 9 sales a day, roughly. So 9 times 9 is 81. So he's making around $80 per day. Probably spending a little bit on ads, but even if he's spending $30 on ads, then he's still making $50 profit every day. And 50 times 30, that means he's averaging around $1,500 a month in profit if he's spending $40 every day on ads. Now, if you have 2 or 3 or 4 different niches that you're thinking, oh, I don't know which niche to publish in, then all you have to do is just go through it, look at if the interior is black and white or colored or premium color. So if you're stuck between 2 or 3 or 4 niches and you're not quite sure which one to publish in, go inside and look at each niche. Look at the average of your competitors. Are they publishing in black and white, or is it a colored interior? How many pages do they roughly have? What's the trim size? What's the price? Because if you have this information, you can go in the calculator and see the profit margin per book. If the profit margin is $5 or higher, then that's a good niche to publish in. This one is a $9 profit margin, which is amazing. Now, the reason that's so good is because it's a black and white interior. If you want to go in this niche and then you're thinking, well, everyone has a black and white interior, but that's boring. I'll make a colored version so I can stand out. Then all you have to do is go through here, same price, same everything, and go standard color. Standard color interior is not as crystal clear as the premium colored interior, but it does give you a higher profit margin. Now, if your images are super small, that's okay. Standard color is more than enough for you. But if you're going to have a full page image, that's when you need premium color. So if you decide to go with standard color, all you need to know is that all the images inside we're going to have to be kind of small, not take up a whole page. But as you can see, from $9, we went down to $3.50. So it doesn't make any sense to publish standard color. However, we are at a 250 page count. So let's say it's around 180 pages. This is at $6. So we can publish a book in here with standard color, because that way we're going to be different from everyone else, because it's just a more enjoyable experience when it's standard color. And we can also make more than $5 profit margin. Obviously, black and white is much better, but standard color just might be a way to differentiate yourself from everyone else. So that's how you determine the amount of profit margin that you're going to make if you decide to pursue a certain niche.